to take the decision whether for that particular case telemedicine consultation is appropriate or not. Apart from that, they should consider the mode. Technology is available, their adequacy for diagnosis before the choosing to proceed. Every patient, case, medical condition may be different. Now I am telling about consent of the patient. It is very important for telemedicine. It is clearly written in guideline of CCAs, and explicit consent can be recorded in any form. Patient can send an email, text, even audio or video message. Patient can state his or her intent on phone or video or text. What actually I am doing, I built a particular WhatsApp number for maintaining the telemedicine communication with my patients. Whenever anyone is seeking consultation, we are providing a text for him with some gaps, and we are requesting the patients to fill out the gaps. What actually written in that format? Quote, "Sir, my name is," quote, "Sir, my name is," space, "is," space, "sex," space, "myself," oblique, "on behalf of," it may be father may seek appointment from children, that is, "on behalf of such and says name, age and sex, seeking an appointment for online consultation." What is written in the text? "Sir, my name is such and such, age in such and such, sex is such and such, myself or on behalf of my daughter, sister, wife, seeking an appointment for online consultation. Please give an appointment and also send your account, etc. for online consultancy fees." Just we are sending this message with gaps, and patient, those who are seeking appointment, just they are filling out the gaps with their name, age and sex. Whenever this consent is coming to our WhatsApp number, in our official WhatsApp number, then one reply message is to be sent. Your session for online consultancy is at such and such time and date. Full stop. Please confirm. Then the patient will reciprocate and he will confirm that I will like to get the session on the particular time. So regarding consent of the patient, be very serious, be very particular. If we do not take the consent of the patient before online consultation, before telemedicine, actually it will be taken in consideration, it will be taken as you are not following the law, following the rules of government. Then skill of practitioner is very important for telemedicine practice. The skill may vary from one to another, we all know. Another based on his professional experience, discrimination and different medical condition based on the defined clinical standards and standard treatment guidelines. The registered homeopathic practitioner must record this in his or her patient records. So whenever we are talking with our patients through video, through audio, we have to maintain record in detail as we are maintaining record in detail in our clinics. Then types of consultation in telemedicine. There are two types of consultation. First consultation and follow-up consultation. It is being defined by Central Council of Homeopathy. It is being defined by even Medical Council of India. And it's very clearly they define what is first consultation for telemedicine and what is follow-up consultation. There are two types. Homeopathic physician may have only a limited understanding of the patient seeking telecommunication for the first time, when there has been no prior in-person consultation. Patient is absolutely new. You have not communicated earlier with that patient. However, the first consult happens to be via video. Mind it. If it be first consultation with the patient, telemedicine, not preferable. It should be via video. And homeopathic physician can make a much better judgment and hence can provide much better advice, including treatment and management, whatever they needed. The patient is consulting for the first time for first consultation. Patient has consulted earlier, but more than 6 months have lapsed since the previous consultation. That would be considered as first consultation. The patient has consulted earlier, but for a different health condition. That also to be considered as first consultation. Next is follow-up. The patient is consulting with same ailments with 6 months of his or her previous in-person consultation, and this is for continuation of care of the same health condition. However, it will not be considered a follow-up if there are new symptoms that are not in the spectrum of the same health condition, or concerned homeopathic practitioner does not recall the context to previous treatment and advice. Another important thing, through telemedicine we do provide counseling. This is specific advice given to the patient, and it may, for instance, include food restriction, individual specific regimen, do's and do nots with homeopathic medication to mitigate the underlying condition. This may also include advice for new investigation that need to be carried out before the next consultation. Now we have to issue a prescription. We have consulted patient, we have classified patient, first consultation, follow-up consultation, we have discussed in detail about different types of communication, video, audio, text. Everything is completed. We have taken the case very sincerely and we have took all the records and followed all the investigation reports what they send. Now we are in a position to issue a prescription. A registered homeopathic practitioner shall provide photo scan, a digital copy of signed prescription. You are not supposed to type in WhatsApp and message the name of the medicine. You have to write on your prescription or type in your prescription pad letterhead, and it should be signed properly, and make a photocopy and it should be sent. In case of a registered homeopathic practitioner, in transmitting the prescription directly to pharmacy, he or she, patient, must ensure explicit consent of the patient that entitles him or her to get the medicine dispensed from any other pharmacy. Specifically, in case of prescription is shared with the patient, the homeopathic physician is required to maintain the prescription record as required in person consultation. Whenever we are sending the photocopy of the prescription after completion of telemedicine, we have to preserve that prescription in our record. When in next time in near future, when the patient will visit in our clinic, we have to provide that hard copy of the prescription. Then the last but not the least, it is also written in the guideline, fee for telemedicine consultation. Most of my colleagues, they are asking me, we are giving all services over telephone, even we are taking all case records, they are giving a suggestion from us, but what about our fees? That is also narrated in the guideline, fee for telemedicine consultation. Telemedicine consultation should be treated the same way as in-person consultation. Mind it. Telemedicine consultation no way is lesser. It is written in the guideline. It should be treated the same way as in-person consultation from a fee perspective. A registered homeopathic practitioner may charge an appropriate fee for the telemedicine consultation provided. A registered homeopathic practitioner should also give a receipt, invoice for the fee charged for providing telemedicine based consultation if the patient demands it. Now I am telling in brief Suppose a patient is seeking consultation through telemedicine, then we have to opt whether the consultation would be video, audio or text. Considering that, patient will seek for appointment through text. What I have told earlier, the written consent, I am such and such, like to get an appointment for your consultation online. At the same time, they will wrote, it is to be written there, please give your bank details, we will be paying fees after consultation. The first patient, then the option video, audio and text, what mode of communication we will prefer with the availability of the patient and doctors. Then patient identification is to be completed. Then consent, it is implied. Then we have to quickly assess whether the case is emergency or not, whether the case is requiring first aid or not, whether the case is needed for physical examination or not. If it be there, then we would suggest with text or with audio mode that please, I am sorry, I will not take your case for online consultation as it is emergency, as it is domain on the first aid, or as it is required physical examination. Apart from that, other patients, you may give them particular time for consultation, and whenever you are giving time, you should attain the time on video, preferably video, and we take all the details of the cases. Even through video, we will get the physical appearance of the tongue, physical appearance of the skin disease, physical appearance and visual effect of pain and its radiation, all those things. And after getting all those things, you should keep the records in your file. After that, you have to write a prescription in your letterhead, not typing text in the phone, not typing text in the WhatsApp message box. It will be in your letterhead with proper signature. It will take a photographs of that photocopy, then it will be sent to the patient. In follow-up consultation, once again they will seek for appointment, and you have to provide appointment for the known patients, and it will be repeat again for next part. In the prescription format, in letterhead, what are the things to be incorporated? Name of the homeopathic physician in capital and bold letters, clear written names with qualifications, address of the physician, and contact details, telephone number, email address, telecommunication address, whatever they needed, it should be there. Along with this, registration number of the physician is to be put there in the prescription. Now, date of consultation, name of the patient, address of the patient, age, gender, etc. Now, the complaint in nutshell, diagnosis if any, if you do make, that should be taken in consideration, and after that prescription and all those things. Now I am sharing my experiences about telemedicine. Actually, I am having some reservation for last 10 to 20 years. Many patients requested me for online consultation, but I refused. And it was my reservation in my thought process. Through telemedicine, the treatment procedure will not be up to the mark correct. But due to the COVID-19 lockdown, the patients are in a very grave situation. They are not getting communication with the physicians. And with last 2 months, during last 2 months from April 14th, I started telemedicine. I have treated many of the cases. Among them, I do like to share the very difficult case of a known case of CKD, chronic kidney disease. The creatinine level was 9.2, urea was about 180 something, more than that. And at the same time, the patient was suffering from a malignant tumor in urinary bladder. and he was supposed to get dialysis alternate day in a reputed hospital of Kolkata. And they have seek for appointment and consultation. And in first consultation, I was also in confusion, as the patient is in a serious condition through telemedicine. How could I help them? But I took the case, whatever they noted in detail, and considering all the symptoms, whatever they told, and the investigation reports, whatever I got from their messages, I conclude and prescribed a medicine for the patients. And with utter surprise, getting that medicine, the patient was improving. And day before yesterday, they sent a report. Now the creatinine level is 4.2, and the blood urea level near about 100. And important good news for homeopathic fraternity, the nephrologist now refused to provide dialysis for last 21 days. As the creatinine is dropping down for last 1 month, it was 9.2, then 7 point something like that. Now it is 4, and they have withdrawn the all the things whatever they needed for dialysis. They have withdrawn all those things, and the patient is doing well. It is now a patient at about 60 years, a known patient of CKD and carcinoma in urinary bladder. Not in adult patient. I have also consulted a infant of 7 months through telemedicine with video conferencing. But I suggested them for the children, what are the complaints actually they are suffering from, the infants or the children. I have suggested the patient party to took video, short snap video clip in different situation in their house and to send it. And another patient is almost at the verge of death, one of my ex-student's father, and he is suffering from brain tumor and followed by severe convulsion. I did not know, there was no possibility or facilities there to provide video conferencing. They took video and sent it through WhatsApp. I got the video and I asked all the symptoms over telephone. They are not having the facility to provide video conferencing due to the net facilities disturbances. And considering all, we prescribed homeopathic medicine, and getting medicine within 15 days, not 15, like 12 days has elapsed. Now the patient there was at the verge of death, not talking, not looking around, not taking any foods, involuntary urination, everything, about to die. Now the patient is taking his food with his own hand, sitting in his bed. So I am sharing you, I am assuring you people, don't be shaky, don't be conservative about telemedicine. Whenever situation demands, whenever it is not possible to attain the patient in our clinic due to external influences like COVID-19, the highly infectious disease, don't give up the treatment, don't give up the clinic, don't give up the practice. Start with telemedicine, telecommunication with the patients. Patient will be benefited with homeopathic system of therapy. Don't be confused about the scope and limitations of telemedicine. Everything is in scope heading, only there are 2 or 3 limitations. One limitation is if the net service is not up to the mark at both the end, telemedicine is not to be established properly. Regarding clinical stage, if the patient is suffering from any acute emergency or any fast state, that patient is not be possible to giving support with telemedicine, or patient those who are required fast aid, that also not be supported by telemedicine. Apart from that, patient those who are needed physical examination, patient those who are suffering from severe chest congestion, we have to auscultate. Patient those who are suffering from cerebrovascular accidents, we have to measure the blood pressure. In those cases, patient those who are suffering from acute surgical emergency, we have to palpate the abdomen. In those cases, telemedicine is not possible. But apart from that, in chronic cases, in follow-ups, safely you can follow telemedicine procedures. And whenever you are starting, don't be shaky. You may go through once again from the website of Central Council of Homeopathy the guideline of telemedicine. Thank all of you for patient sharing. Namaskar.